Hello and welcome to this course entitled Machine Dynamics 2. There is a 2 in the name of this course because there's another course entitled Machine Dynamics, usually without the 1, but a precursor course. And the two courses, Machine Dynamics and Machine Dynamics 2, they are completely independent, so you can take them independently, one on each other. There is, I would say, a slight dependence. We will deal at a certain place also with the rotor with a flexible shaft, and this model of the rotor with a flexible shaft has been already dealt with in the course of Machine Dynamics. However, this is really just a very small note, and the equations of motion for that flexible shaft are easy to grasp and do not need the study of the course of Machine Dynamics. So why are there two courses on Machine Dynamics? Well, because they follow the same idea, therefore it's the same name. Namely, we study problems in engineering dynamics, not by developing a certain theory, but by studying certain examples, and at the very end we have in the background also the development of a certain theory or of some certain theoretical aspects, but the example, the problem dealing with machines is in the foreground, the theory remains in the background. So we will always start with the given set of problems, derive the governing equations, solve these equations, and draw some practical conclusions from these problems and from these equations. So what is the content of this course? Well, we start with hydrodynamic journal bearings. After that, we study the stability of rotors in journal bearings. Then we study belt drives, and at the very end, we are dealing with vibrations of turbine blades. So maybe you ask, well, sounds interesting, but why these subjects and not some other ones? Well, because the hidden theory behind all these subjects are partial differential equations. And this is the difference when compared with the course on Machine Dynamics. In Machine Dynamics, I deal with models that include ordinary differential equations, and here we are dealing with partial differential equations, maybe with one exception. In the stability of rotors and journal bearings, we switch back to ordinary differential equation and to the stability theory for ordinary differential equations. But the model involved comes from the journal bearing, and this is a partial differential equation, the Reynolds equation, that is included in the stability analysis. There's another difference between the course in Machine Dynamics and Machine Dynamics 2. In Machine Dynamics, there is a written exam. In Machine Dynamics 2, there's an oral examination. That oral examination lasts approximately 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, or 5 minutes per credit points. That's always the general rule. And in that exam, I will ask you questions related to these subjects. Usually I start with the first one and we end with the last one. So we study these subjects in chronological order. And my questions focus on whether you understood the important aspects of these subjects. And you can make the connections and so on. I'm not dealing in the exam with all the details hidden in transforming some equations, in doing computations. Well, because I have to admit, well, if I would at your place in the exam, I would have the same difficulties, and as an examinator, I also would have difficulties to know every fine detail of every fine transformation. And there are so many things, and well, we would just run out of time in the exam, and I would just ask you 1 or 2 transformations, and that wouldn't prove anything about your knowledge of that course. That doesn't make much sense. Yeah? I guess you get a good impression by going to the Fachschaft, which is close to this room here, and asking for previous examples of exams or exam questions. Well, they're not always the same, of course, but there is a certain resemblance, I would say. They are rather close. You can take the exam, of course, in German or in English. You will find all the course material available, also the videos in German and in English. And if you have further questions, comments, if you need an appointment, for example, for the exam, just drop me a note, a mail under proppe@kit.edu. And for the exam, just make sure before you start preparing for the exam that you have an appointment for that exam. Usually this is not a big deal. I would say if I'm available, so not either on holidays or on conference trips or whatsoever, which happens from time to time, but not for a whole month or 2 months or something like this. Yeah? So I would say I'm rather flexible, but some flexibility is also requested by you, because I cannot make an exam possible every day, of course. Yeah? So just make sure that before you start preparing for the exam, you fix a date for the appointment. I would say at least 14 days in advance. If you prefer longer periods, no problem for me. It all depends on you. Yeah? Okay, well, that's already the end of the first video, right? Nothing really new, but in the next video I will start with the derivation of the Reynolds equation for hydrodynamic journal bearings. So see you in a moment in the next video. Thank you.